Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the most inspirational podcast in the land, the Masterpiece. Today's Masterpiece, he is the 2023 Pro Men's Physique champion, Mr. America. So, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Phil Thomas, thanks for being on the show. A true masterpiece, a true inspiration. Stay tuned after this intro to hear his story.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Good afternoon. Well, good evening, Mr. Thomas. How you doing, sir?
Man, I am blessed. How are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for joining us from God's country, the state of Ohio.
Well, we'll see if people can find it on a map most of the time.
Yeah,
That's the
God's country,
problem.
Ohio. So we gonna get straight into the show. So, did you ever dream of being a bodybuilder? If it wasn't your dream, how did you get into bodybuilding?
Man, if you would have ever told me in 2024 I would be where I'm at right now, I would laugh a little bit. Just a quick background was high school. Obviously, a lot of us are in sports, in high school sports, and was blessed to be able to go play college football and run track in college. And then
Oh,
when I
nice.
got out of college, as and I always say that um, I'm not a retired athlete. I say I'm a former college athlete because it never really leaves us. That drive never really leaves us. So got into fitness kind of after sports to stay in
Okay.
good shape. And we all a little bit, from our training to being athletes, want to have a certain look and feel a certain way. And then when your boy challenge you to play basketball or run a race, you want to be able to not look so bad. So got into lifting really after I got out of college. Really, a lot
Okay.
before that was more sports specific. Got into lifting after that, and then my uncle Roy Thomas been in bodybuilding for a long time. Been in probably over 30 years. I was a master trainer in the military. Whole life of fitness. He's got a whole story. If you want to really talk to somebody that's inspiring, he would be the person. But he looked at me one day and he's like, Phil, you should bodybuild. And I looked back at him. I was like, are you nuts? I said, I don't do it for this. I lift because I want to feel good. And, I
Yeah.
had some weightlifting goals. And he just wore me down. He just wore me down. Basically said, just do a show, just do a show. I promise you, you'll like it. You'll like it. You'll like it. And eventually I was like, man, I'm just going to do one just to shut him up.
Uh huh.
And then I did a show and got on stage and I was like, wow, it the process of getting on stage, but also getting on stage, it just fit a gap that I had, a competitive gap that I was able to fill that I wasn't being able to fulfill any other way.
Okay. Yeah. Well, good job, Uncle. We bring you to the stage. So, since that conversation, I mean, since the first time on stage, how many years have you been in competition?
I would say competitively, I've been training for specifically for bodybuilding since about 2014. I think I did my
Wow.
first show in 2015, so it's been about 9 years.
Oh, wow. So, has anything changed about the sport? And if so, what has changed since you
Whew.
first started?
What do they say? The only thing that you can guarantee is change, and definitely you see that in bodybuilding. Now I was blessed. I started competing in some smaller organizations, getting my feet wet, understanding how to actually bodybuild and the lifestyle. And because to me personally, I don't do it just to get on stage. Just the process leading up is what I love about it so much. But what I will say is that I see a lot of people getting into competitive bodybuilding earlier,
Uh,
young men and young women getting in a lot earlier, being more specific, not just training for getting in shape, not just training for to look good, but more specific bodybuilding than I've ever seen. But also, you do unfortunately because of social media and because of it being in our face and kids starting to take in nutrition and all the pressures they have for how they look. You also, unfortunately, I think I also see what has changed is, people jumping onto different supplements or enhancements a lot earlier as well.
Oh wow. Yeah, so I felt that I don't know, it seemed like wow, I guess competing in local I did OCB and I did NFF.
Hmm.
And I guess OCB is a pretty big organization. It seemed like the
Yes.
older guys. It seemed like it was more older guys on the stage than there were younger guys. So
Yeah.
it's good if you're seeing the younger guys, and that's a great thing because yeah, because I would like to see the younger guys get out there, get active. The younger women, whatever the case may be, get out there and get active and
Yeah.
compete, do something, some physical activity. So outside of sport, what have you learned about yourself since you stepped on first time you stepped on stage?
Um, and I always thought I was very disciplined prior to even getting into bodybuilding. And I was okay being different, okay not hanging out with the crowd, but this took it to a whole nother level.
Oh yeah,
I think again, if for me, if I just continue to do this just to bodybuild, then I'll stop. What really I think helps define me is this process leading up to, not the discipline for the working out, the discipline for the nutrition, the discipline for getting in the sleep, the planning, all of those different things. I think a lot of that stuff translates outside of bodybuilding. It translates into my work life, my personal life, all those different things. So I think that what it did was sharpen those aspects of my life, which that's why I love it. Obviously we don't get on stage and do this just for the discipline and just for the, all of those things. It's a competitive sport. But
yeah.
I think the aspects that I get from the process of getting on stage and how it translates into such positive things in my life is really what I think I enjoy about this and why I continue to do it.
Okay. Yeah, so when it comes to the process, do you ever feel, and prior to getting on stage, do you ever fear you haven't done enough or you're not doing enough?
Um, I think, and I think it's normal when you don't know what to expect. You have those doubts. So I'd say the first couple of years I was competing, it was kind of like you dip your foot in the pool and see if the water's warm, and you don't you have those doubts. But what I've told people is that I think what's made most people successful is that if you're always going to have a little bit of nervousness or excitement, or even to this day I've been competing for 9 years, and before I get on stage all those things start happening, but what takes over is your preparation and your practice. So a lot of times I don't feel like that because I know how hard I prepare and how I
Okay.
practice. So I've translated a long time ago that, hey, as long as I've done everything I'm supposed to do, I've hit my meal, done all my meals, hit all my workouts, been disciplined, practiced my posing, all of those things, there's nothing to be worried about. Your body's going to take over and do what you've practiced. So people who are nervous, they ain't practiced enough. They ain't prepared enough.
Hey, that's a good point, good perspective.
Yeah.
So, of all times you've been on the stage, any not so top 10 moments. If so, what was that not so top 10 moment?
Anytime I don't win.
Well, that's a good one.
um, um, I will say, it has been quite a journey. But I will say that I think I learned um, more from my losses than I have my wins. And what I will say is that my worst moment, I think, actually ended up being what I think has propelled me to success. I think it was my third contest that I competed in, and I started in the NGA.
Okay.
And I drove out to BFE, Pennsylvania. I don't even know where it's at. Promoter out there was a wonderful promoter. She really took the time to talk to us about what bodybuilding is. You know, how there's people that look good in the gym. There's people who look good walking around, and then there's people on stage, and
Yeah.
understanding what that commitment meant. Thought I prepared for that show. Again, this is like my first year competing, so I didn't know what I didn't know, and thought that I won the show and ended up getting second.
Oh wow.
And being a football guy, I play college football. Like, whoever scores the most points wins. I
Yeah.
ran track. I crossed the line first.
Yeah.
I won. Basketball. We scored the most points. We win. So it was a very hard concept. Understanding subjectivity. Um, and I tell people now, like, you can be the best chocolate ice cream ever, but if they want strawberry that day, they're gonna pick strawberry. Don't mean your chocolate's bad. Does not mean your chocolate's bad at all. And I had to really focus on that. The fact that really what it comes down to is me improving each time on stage,
Okay.
me doing all those things that I talked about doing earlier. And if I'm doing those things and trying to fit more into the concept of what they say is the prototype of what they're looking for, then that's all I can do. Um, you have two choices when you feel those losses. And I lost that show, and I was steaming backstage. I'm quiet. I wouldn't like I'm an
Yeah.
adult. I wasn't
Yeah.
acting childish, but I was. Oh man, boy, if woo woo, if flames, if I was an anime character, um, but I thought about it and I was like, okay, I got a decision to make. I can get mad and get frustrated, and what's that going to do? That's wasteful energy. Or what I can do is turn that around and be like, okay, I'm upset about this. What can I do to fix it? So what that moment did for me, that I say you said worst moment. I call it my lowest moment, but it propelled me. I think from that moment when I thought I should have won a show, I really should have won a show. But but
Yeah, we should win
but
all of them.
oh man, well, it is what it is. But what it allowed me to do is that loss allowed me to transform my career. It allowed me to transform how I'm going to approach this, and whether I'm going to be worried about losing to somebody. I'm more worried about improving myself, because that's
Mm.
all I control.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good perspective. So was Mr. America 2023, was that your biggest win? Or if not, what's your biggest accomplishment in the sport?
Um, none of your babies are ugly. All my kids are beautiful. I will say that top three things that I think that I cherish a lot. Mr. America is one of them, definitely. I didn't
Okay.
understand the history of it. I didn't understand the significance of it until I got on stage and was blessed to win. And then I was like, oh, they flew us out to, the gym in Maryland, and you see all these other legends on the wall.
Oh
These
wow.
people that have competed for, since over 100 years. They have these pictures of these people on the wall, and then they unveil a picture of you and they put it on this wall with these people, and
Oh
you're just like,
nice.
it hit me then.
Okay.
So, I will say, because that one's, a little bit more recent, that one definitely was important and probably one of my biggest wins. But one of the things I want to talk about is I am still an IFBB pro.
Oh, okay.
And
Nice.
and the reason I take pride in that is because
That's tough.
I did it the right way.
Okay.
I've
That's
been
even tougher.
natural. I came up and was very fortunate to come up in a time where the difference in the physique, the difference of what they were looking for, is different than what they're looking for today. But I remember my first national show. I got my butt kicked, brother. I get on stage and I'm looking around lost. And then, I focused again on improving and things of that nature. And I remember I ran into a couple of the guys that were at the other national show in Chicago. And I was able to get my pro card in Pittsburgh. And I saw them at the Pittsburgh show. And this guy was back behind stage. He's like, man, we were getting tanned. And he was having a conversation with me. A couple guys I had competed with. He's like, man, it's just impossible for us to do it this way. We're going to have to, change suits,
Yeah.
and change suits in the industry means, we're going to have to, start going down the road of people using enhancements. And again, what people do is what they do. I don't ever
Yeah.
demonize people. And I looked at him and I was like, brother, I was like, no, you don't have to do that. And that day I was blessed to win my card. And I specifically went back out to find him, not to go, nah, nothing like that, but like, hey,
Yeah.
brother, you don't have to do this. So I think one of the proudest moments I've had in bodybuilding is able to get that card at a very competitive show and do it the way that I did it.
Yeah.
And then from that moment on, compete that way in an atmosphere where they allow enhancements, but still continue to compete that way. And I'm getting on stage with 20, 25 guys, and I'm placing consistently in the top 10 to 12. You
Oh
know,
wow.
so I think that helped define a lot of my career, and I'm very proud that And very blessed, man, because it is very difficult, as you know, to win a show period and to get a pro card and to become an IFBB pro, to become an OCB pro, any of these organizations become a pro is a blessing.
Oh
But
yeah.
because of the depth and the quality of the athletes and what they allow in that environment, I was very proud to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
huge deal. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So what example do you want to set for your children? So when your children see you, what do you want them to hear, or what do you want them to receive?
Um, I, what's funny is our kids watch,
Yeah.
whether you think they are or not. They watch you, and they've seen the discipline of, well, dad can't eat this, or dad can't do this, or dad has to go train or do this. And I felt really bad when they were little that I was taking some of that, and I'm blessed to have 5 children. So, by the way,
Amen.
they I'm
Praise
very
God.
blessed. 4 boys, and then been very blessed to have one daughter.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
but what's funny is some of the sacrifices that I made. You see, and my wife competed too, by the way. She
Okay.
competed as well. But some of the sacrifices and discipline and some of the things that we did, you see it forming and going into their lives.
Yeah.
My one son, who's playing college football right now, about 3 or 4 years ago, and as a 16-year-old, he started tracking his macros,
Oh
um,
wow.
and looking into nutrition. Where other people are going out eating fast food,
Yeah.
he's coming home and cooking meals, and doing things of that nature. Our daughter's the same way. She's taken on a health journey. My youngest son, who's 14 now, we're actually finishing up our gym. We're turning, or our garage turned into a gym. I mean, he's living the lifestyle. He sees how, like, I'll be dead tired, but I'm like, hey, today's a workout day, or, then I'm cooking food. So they see those things. So I think, it's not so much the bodybuilding, although I'm very proud and I've been blessed to have them come to shows and see what we do, so they
Yeah.
can look back and be like, oh, man, your dad was all right, you
Yeah.
know. But I think more importantly is that they see how we handle business, put it that way.
Okay.
They see that, having a long-term vision, and sacrificing short-term um, wants, how that can help propel you to some bigger goals, and hopefully what that rubs on to them is the being okay, being different, being okay, understanding who you are, understanding what goals you want, and not being afraid to sacrifice some things to get there.
Well said. Amen. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of covered it earlier, but bodybuilding, as you know, I know, is very demanding. Like you said, the discipline
Yes.
and everything else. I mean, what's your biggest takeaway? I mean, why do you do it? Being is it so hard, so demanding? What keeps you in it?
Well, just like my dad, God bless him, he retired. Well, he tried to retire a couple of years ago, and he's 77. He tried to
Oh wow.
retire a couple of years ago, and then he went back to work. And I was like, Dad, like, he was a contractor painter doing stuff like that. I was like, why are you? He's like, because when I stop using it, it's gonna shut down. Um, so I don't want to be morbid, but part of the reason that it's part of my lifestyle. And people laugh at me sometimes when I say that, or don't understand quite what I mean. Is like, I don't I don't live this lifestyle to bodybuild. I bodybuild because of my lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because of me being active, because of the way that actually exercise helps balance out my life. It brings down some of the chemicals and all those things and hormones in your body. It's really a good outlet to help balance out some things in your life. I also have dedicated myself to being around to seeing my grandkids.
Hmm.
Now, one of the ways to do that is being physically active. I don't know that I'm going to bodybuild forever, but I'm like, sure doggone keep this lifestyle forever. And bodybuilding is an outlet for this lifestyle. So it's tough. Um, but I always say, what's the alternative? Like, what would you be doing with your time if you weren't doing it? And
Yeah.
would that be productive, or would it make you feel as good, or would it help? Like I said, I'm into long-term goals, and my long-term goals are being as healthy and living as happily and having a good quality of life. So this checks those boxes. The bodybuilding aspect of it, at some point may not check the box. I may not need to get on stage anymore to do that. But the lifestyle, oh Lord, the lifestyle is what I'm going to keep forever. And I'm just hoping that the lifestyle allows me to continue to be a competitive bodybuilder as well.
Okay, yeah. So that perfect segue. So when do you know it's time to call it quits? What's that for you?
Well, when you on your 90-minute cardio, I think about that all the time. Well, why am I doing this? Um, I think just like with anything, there's a certain. Let me start by this way. Everybody's got a different reason to get on stage. Some people, it was a thing. Hey, I want to get on stage to say I did it. It's a life
Yeah.
goal. Some people like, again, it's like a date on a calendar for them. You know how some people do things to get ready for vacation. Oh, I'm going to the Bahamas. I need to get in shape.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes bodybuilding helps them do that as well, or getting on stage does that. Um, for me, like I said, I live this lifestyle anyway. For me, it completes a competitive gap of fire I still have competitively. When I no longer enjoy the process, not getting on stage is fun. Getting on stage and competing is fun. When I no longer enjoy the process, or the process is always, work. But when I don't enjoy the work anymore, maybe time for me to hang it up. Just because there's a certain level that I respect this sport so much
Yeah.
that if I can't put in the same effort or have the same enjoyment for the work or the process, I don't want to shortchange it. So that for me is going to be when, and I think everybody kind of gets that feeling when it becomes a job,
Yeah.
when it becomes, when what you're doing is out, the negative part of it outweighs all the good feelings and goodness you get out of it. It may be time to start looking at, doing something different.
Okay. Yeah. So what's next? What's next for you? I mean, is there any big achievement you want to share, or what's going
Well,
on?
I tried to defend my title this last year, but ended up getting second. So, so I'm definitely next year. That Mr. America title is something I cherish and I want to go again. But I'm
Okay.
actually 4 days. What's today? Monday. I am 6 days, 5 days out from the Natural Olympia.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Where is that? That's in.
that's Saturday in Vegas. It is
Nice.
the yeah. So I have joined. I'm currently my home organization is the PMBA, the IMBA PMBA,
Okay.
and I've gone to the Olympics. This will be my fourth time. My first year I went there
Oh wow.
and I got seventh. My second year I went there and got fourth. Last year got third.
Oh
So
well, there's a pattern there, sir.
this is the one we want. This is the one we want. So, and
Yeah.
the beauty for that contest, and every contest is great. This is a capstone show for the PNBA. The OCB has the Yorton Cup.
Yeah.
The USBF has its championship. The nice thing about this is truly an international contest.
Oh wow.
Last year, I would say that we probably had 28 gentlemen on stage, and more than half of them were from overseas.
Oh
Europe,
wow.
Germany, Britain, Netherlands, Japan, Italy. So very competitive because there's different looks,
Yeah.
and they ain't coming across the seas and spending all that money if they
Yeah.
don't think they can win.
Yeah.
So
This is true.
so it's a competitive show. So that has been my goal. This year, obviously, I wanted to defend that Mr. America title, but I have been on a path and been trying to, you know, develop the world class physique to win this Natural Olympia. So, hopefully we were able to do that this Saturday.
Okay. Well, good luck. All the best. Safe travels and all that other good stuff.
Appreciate it, my man.
So before we get to your business as a trainer, what motivational message can you leave to people? Give us something to inspire us and to motivate us to get out there, get active, stay active, to be an inspiration.
Um, One of the things that, and I work with some people and help them to reach some of their goals, is I used to take a saying from Henry Ford.
Okay.
Henry Ford had this saying: "Whether you think you can do a thing or you can't do a thing, you're right."
Okay.
And I used to talk to people all that all the time about that as well, saying whether you think you can or can't, you're right. So one of the things that we have to do um, is realize in life, fitness, nutrition, there's always going to be obstacles. But how you approach them and your perspective has a lot to do with the outcome. So maybe you can't do a thing, but you're more likely to be successful by the way that you approach it. So, really, people, if they can um, look at their goals, write them down, and all this stuff is stuff that people tell us all the time, but it works. And that's why people tell
Yeah.
you is pick a goal, write it down, keep it in front of your face, develop steps to get there, measure yourself, keep yourself accountable, measure the steps to get to those goals. And you will look up one day and you'll be like, man, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I think sometimes people see that goal and it looks so far away, but it's just a matter of steps. But you got to take the first step. You
Yeah.
got to take the first step. So don't compare your journey to anybody else's. Your journey is your journey. Your successes are your successes. You should celebrate them. Your struggles are
Yeah.
your struggles. Find that why behind the why. Find out why you're doing it, and during the hard times, that's what's going to carry you through. That why, not oh, I want to look good. Why? Well, I want
Yeah.
to because I want to fit in these clothes. Well, why do you want to fit in these clothes? Well, because when I fit in these clothes, I feel a certain way. Why do
Yeah.
you feel a certain way? Because my husband tells me I look good, and that makes me feel good. That's it. That's the why. It ain't because you want to look good. It's because of this. It's because of the relationship and how it makes you feel with your husband, as an example. So that's what you focus on during your journey. And during the rough times, which there will be, when you put that in front of you and you keep reminding yourself that's why you're doing it, the journey will be a lot easier.
Powerful message, sir. Powerful message.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for sharing. As soon as we get off, I'm going to the gym.
Actually, I am too.
So let's take a moment to talk about, I guess, this business or this trainer.
Yeah,
What can you
man.
say?
Yeah, I'm blessed. I always said that like if Michael Jordan had a coach, and we all need coaches. Tiger Woods had a putting coach. We all need putting coaches. Obviously I've been blessed and I'm a trainer myself and I help people. But I've met up with Manny Menchaca, and he's out in Santa Ana, California. So I live in Ohio. He's out in California. He's got a gym out there called T3, but he also does online coaching and he does in-person coaching. Manny, we call him the magician. He's got a couple nicknames, the magician and the menace. It's depending on what he gives you for the workout or nutrition is what you call him. But the nice thing about Manny is I met up with him about 3 years ago, and he, even for me, someone that I thought I was doing a good job of training myself and doing different things. He has risen me to a new level. He's very inviting. You become family. It's not just a trainer. Manny is like a brother, a dad, whatever you need. He has a great amount of knowledge. I think he's been doing this for over 20 years. He's competed as well, so he does lifestyle coaching, and he also does. He just has a platform now where he is doing online workouts, and then he does competition coaching as well. And you can find him on Instagram under Manny. I think it's Boom Crew. But Manny is a very good man. I'm older than him, but man, he has actually taught me a lot. And it is one thing that's nice about having somebody in your corner that this is what they do. This is what they do. So it allows you to relax and just follow the plan, and he'll definitely help you get to your goals.
Good job. Well, you heard it there. Mr. America 2023 going to Natural Olympia. So if you're interested in getting some training online, California, hey, hit Manny up. I will post it in the
Manny.
stories, and you can always watch this podcast or look at this podcast to get Manny's information. Any parting thoughts, sir?
No, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing this. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, when we can get together and talk about fitness, there's so much going on in this world. It's nice to be able to talk about something that's inspiring and something that actually will help us mentally, physically, and spiritually as well. Just help improve those things. So keep doing this. It's important. If nobody's told you that these things are important, and even if your audience is as big as you want it right now,
Yeah.
the people that you're reaching, hopefully it's impactful. And I guess that's the biggest thing. So I appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you, sir. No one's told me. You're the first. So hopefully the first of many. I really appreciate it. I mean, I feel like God gave me this vision. We here. Yeah, my following ain't where it will be. It is, but
It's
uh,
coming.
in time it will come. So yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm just gonna walk in faith and do what I'm told to do. So that's it.
Amen.
But this has been the masterpiece. Thank you, Mr. Phil Thomas, for coming to the show to inspire people to get active, to stay active, to be inspired, and to be an inspiration. Safe travels. Good luck with National Olympia. I will be looking out for the results. And like I said, hopefully we can have you back on in the future.
Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Everyone take care. Good night. Masterpiece is out.